People who think of the Founding Fathers as more than just faces on our money, who really admire what they did and especially revere the Constitution they created, wonder how we managed to stray so far from the free republic they envisioned and how to get it back. I've heard some say, carry permit? This is my carry permit. It's called the Second Amendment. Though I'm guessing none of them ever actually tried that on a cop. There was a story here in Michigan just last year about how the IRS seized the bank account of a small grocery store for violating federal money laundering laws. How so? Because the family-run business regularly made cash deposits of less than $10,000, which the IRS called structuring, meaning the mom-and-pop store was intentionally staying just under the limit for bank reporting requirements. Now, the limit mom and pop were actually concerned about was on their insurance coverage in the event they were robbed. But since there wasn't any notice before the seizure, or charges after, they had to sue the government to get the money back. The point is that just the amount and timing of cash bank deposits is now probable cause. Speaking of cash, just last week, a woman boarding a plane at Detroit Metro Airport was arrested when she was found to be carrying $41,000 concealed in her unmentionables. The strip search that turned up the money is not considered unreasonable, though it's hard to imagine a more personal affront to the security of people who are supposed to be secure in their persons. Then there's the scores of checkpoints set up by the U.S. Border Patrol, some of them scores of miles inside the U.S. borders, where anyone can be stopped in order to produce proof they're lawfully in the country. But I suppose it'd be a bit of a challenge to get a warrant particularly describing the next passerby. And there's the people being held in Guantanamo because they're suspected of being terrorists. Hard to imagine a more infamous crime, but it's been more than a decade with no indictment of a grand jury, so no speedy and public trial, no habeas corpus. Well, you certainly don't have to worry about due process, if there isn't any process at all. Now, what all of these have in common is the betrayal of an idea so fundamental that it's not even in the Constitution. A concept so basic that the drafters assumed that it went without saying. The presumption of innocence. Every one of the compromises I just mentioned, and many more I didn't, is an example of the simple fact that nowadays every one of us is presumed to be guilty and constantly required to prove that we aren't. Something to think about the next time you're waiting in line to prove that you aren't a terrorist.